As you walk the path, remove the mask of doubt, 'cause you know that you know you're guided, even when you're down and out. When your legs grow tired, one more step seems hard. If you hear the sound of your heart that beats, you know you're gonna be empowered. 'Cause I see sunshine, even on a cloudy day. I'm taking my time as I close my eyes and pray. I can see the light, I can see the light. You know, yesterday is gone like a dream, and I'm here to be more present. Here and now, here and now. Many miles to come, days that will turn to night. You chose to walk on this path. Every step can seem like a wrong or right. Years will come and go.
Good morning.
We are so happy
Great
to be
day.
here.
We're happy to be here. Yes.
It's all about love, you know.
It is.
It's all it is. Come and join us.
Good morning. Another wonderful day at the center.
All right.
We'll see you later.
And I was seeing lots of meaningful conversation. That's the theme today. So good morning, let's take a deep breath. Drop your shoulders, let the cares of the day fall away. Another deep breath and then focus. Bring your focus into the heart level, where the white light of God, the white light of Christ consciousness rests, and where we connect, bathe ourselves in that beautiful white light of God. Knowing that God is in, through, and around us all the time. Knowing that today is the day we spend our hour with our highest consciousness. It cares about us, it loves us, and we are safe. It's that wonderful feeling of connectedness. It's that wonderful feeling of knowing there's a response. It's that knowing that when I make a declaration, it's coming for me, to me. It is mine. And so, as I connect, as each one of us connects, one more time with that warm love, know that's what's happening this period of time where we can just be with our God. God loves each of us, and we each love our God. And so today, everything that happens is focused on that wonderful relationship, the wonderful giving and taking with this God, with this love, with this intelligent energy. So take another deep breath, come back into the room, and together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Angel. So beautiful. Good morning. How are you this gorgeous Sunday? It's beautiful. Use me. Use me, oh God, I stand for you. And here I'll abide as you show me. Oh,
close your eyes. And just for a moment, allow me to speak in the first person for you. In this precious moment, I recognize God as one presence, one life, one infinite provider. This is the one mind where there is no separation because I'm one with God. And this is your truth too, because each person here is one with this loving presence, this infinite provider that withholds nothing. This morning there's a shift in consciousness that's taking place right here and right now, and anything that no longer serves me is removed. It's gone. And in its place is wholeness, clarity, strength, a new feeling of confidence and abundance that shows up in every area of my life. So I move through my day today and I affirm, I am loved. I am loving. I am lovable. And I know that this is true. I know the message that's delivered by Reverend Dan this morning, it has a special meaning for each of us to help us live our very best lives. I'm so filled with gratitude this morning that I just simply say thank you, God. Thank you for our 3 ministers who love each of us unconditionally. So grateful for our ministry prayer team. They are the hearts of this center. For our beloved volunteers, for Patty and Dave, who each week they show up and bring us joy with their music. For our sound crew, they make anybody who stands up here sound good. And also for Julius, who each week brings our center alive with his pictures and his video. I can let go and let God now. I can breathe easy because this prayer is done. And so I release my word into the Lord, knowing that this is a Lord that always says yes. And we all can say, and so it is.
Juanita, you said so many beautiful things, but the most one, you are lovable.
Right. And we are lovable.
Love you. Hey, listen, I cry sometimes.
What's new? Right, you cry every time. Okay, I don't feel bad. I'm crazy every time I cry. You move me. I love you. Let's sing together.
I accept things the way they are. I accept things the
comfortable for you as you're standing, if you would please say with me, God bless America and the rest of the world. And if you would just turn to a neighbor and greet them and say good morning.
Welcome to Today is another beautiful day here at this wonderful center. I'm so glad that you're all here to enjoy this incredible singer. I know you've seen her before many a Wednesday night. And it has been a while since she has been here on Sunday. I think she's been out of the country, maybe entertaining. Please welcome the incomparable Karen Jones.
Oh, it's so good to be back. So good to see all of you. You look so beautiful on this Sunday.
You too.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. I have this lovely song that I wrote. I think I sang it before, but every time I sing it, it always evokes something different in me that I hope for you as well. I wrote this song because I realized how important this moment is. This very moment, this present moment, this is your moment of power. This is where anything can shift and change just because of this and this. So the song is entitled Here and Now, and it's a little reminder to all of you that you can always choose differently. No matter how dark it may seem, the light is always there, right now. As you walk the path, remove the mask of doubt, 'cause you know that you know you've got it, even when you're down and out. When your legs grow tired, one more step seems hard. If you hear the sound of your heart that beats, you know you're gonna be empowered. 'Cause I see sunshine, even on a cloudy day. I'm taking my time as I close my eyes and pray. I can see the light, I can see the light. You know, yesterday is gone like a dream, and I'm here to be more present. Here and now, here and now. Many miles to come, days that will turn to night. You chose to walk on this path. Every step can seem like a wrong or right. Years will come and go, then perhaps you'll know God gives you what you can handle. It's up to you to just let it go. 'Cause I see sunshine, even on a cloudy day. I know that it's time. As I close my eyes and pray, I can see the light. I can see the light. You know, yesterday is gone like a dream, and I'm here to be more present, here and now, here and now. There's nothing to be afraid of. The past will show you the way. And don't even let them judge you. Just open your eyes and say, I see sunshine, even on a cloudy day. I know that it's time. Everything's gonna be okay. Na 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 na. I can see the light. You know, yesterday is gone like a dream, and I'm here to be more present here and now. Here and now. I can see the light, I can see the light, I can see the light. I be the light, I be the light. You are the light, you are the light, you are the light, you are the light, here and now.
Wow, that goes beyond beautiful to just gorgeous and delicious. Wow, thank you for feeding our soul with your music. So the title of my talk today is Translating Heartbreak into Action. And the subtitle that I've given the talk is, you know, we're all just good old farmers. Russell?
An old saying among potato growers is that a good rotation is 1,000 years of sagebrush and 1 year of potatoes. And whereas if that's not possible, obviously, then we do next best, and that is spending the time and the number of years we need to prepare that ground so that when we do plant a potato crop, which is very expensive to grow, we know then that we've given it every chance to succeed and have a premium quality potato. We recognize that there's a brotherhood of sorts among growers of potatoes. On the other hand, we also recognize the fact that we're in total competition one with another, and that those people who buy our products examine virtually every potato storage and try to select the premium quality potatoes. In the potato industry, people are willing to pay for a premium potato, but a poor quality potato is really unmarketable. So it's a very serious consideration that we take the time to prepare for that potato crop. And so what we do is spend anywhere from 2 to 3 or 4 years preparing the ground prior to planting the potatoes. And this crop is one of them. It's a wheat crop, and it's not a lucrative crop, but it's a very good crop to prepare for the potato crop that's yet to come. All the preparations we can make almost daily we do in order to assure quality, and we have to work hard at it. Otherwise we have a product that no one wants to buy. One of the things that we've learned over the years, and I'm not young anymore, is the fact that Mother Nature is terribly unforgiving, and if we violate her rules, then she's very severe. And those who try to cheat her and ask for leniency are the ones who ultimately fail. Some years she may give us a little break, but if you count on it, you're a fool. You count only on your ability to get the crop out before Mother Nature is going to come and take it from you. The temptation to do things easier, quicker is sometimes there, but we've learned that we can't do it. We have to put the time and effort and money into having machinery and people prepared and make the sacrifices that's necessary to get it done in that time frame. We have 3 or 4 years of preparation for one crop of potatoes, and then we have a window of 3 weeks to get that crop out of the ground and under cover before Mother Nature plays tricks on us. And we try to maximize our growing season by waiting as long as we dare, but we also know that we're tickling the dragon's tail, so to speak, and so we make every preparation we can to let the crop grow as long as we can, and then once that's over, then we get into harvest. It's terribly important that we go not night and day, but 18 hours a day in order to beat that potential cold that could destroy the crop even though it's in the ground. It's a pretty tough schedule and pretty important that we're fully prepared and competent and get the job done timely, or we could lose it. For virtually 3 or 4 years of work. In this business, we've learned some lessons, and some of them in a hard way, that we can't take shortcuts or try to cheat as it relates to a harvest time. All the advances we see in irrigation and equipment, in technology and seed and fertilization is not a substitute for other things. Anytime we violate the law of the harvest, so to speak, then we're doomed to failure in spite of all the advancements that we see come along. We try to make the best use we can of new technology and equipment that fits our needs, but we have also learned that it is no substitute for good, sound decision-making and preparation, which we've always relied on, and we will always rely on it. It's more fundamental than changes in technology and equipment. I sense sometimes that there's a growing mentality in this country, and maybe in the world, that great things are going to be accomplished through advancements in technology and communications and computers, and to the point that the human element is not important. And I think nothing can be further from the truth, that we succeed only to the point that we develop the ability to change with changing times, to be prepared, to resist the temptation to make shortcuts in our own preparation and knowledge. And I think the moment we rely on technology to substitute, we make great mistakes. Well, by the very nature of farming, we have no roof over our head. We take whatever Mother Nature gives to us. We can't store good weather. We have to use it when it's good. We can't control the elements. We like the life. We think it builds character in people.
I think that he is absolutely the most beautiful man I have ever seen. And I know some of you will say, well, really, Rev Dan, because we kind of thought you were into that really young, hot Latino thing. And that's true. However, that gentleman is one hot potato. And I'm going to tell you why. Because of him, we have this. And I have got to tell you, I have been waiting for this moment all night. I thought, well, maybe I could take some potato chips and tape the bag. So I've been waiting. Now, I want to tell you, this is my favorite food in the world, but my most favorite ones are the ones that are folded.
That is a premium. Did I ruin my microphone? Fix it. It's okay, I'll be here. That's all.
Hi. Oh, there we are. So, anyway. It's really hard to concentrate right now. But what's interesting, as I watch that, really when you think about it, we religious scientists are also just good old farmers. Farmers of the mind. And literally, if we were to change just a few words, that video is about us. Let me show you what I mean. So, there's an old saying amongst us religious scientists that we are all farmers. We are all, each one of us, the farmers of our own mind, which truly means then that we are the farmers of our own experience. But there's one difference between our potato farmer friends and us religious science farmers, and it's this. Our soil has been prepared for us. Our soil has been perfectly prepared for us to use.
And what we've come to understand
is that the universe worked with great diligence and great love. And what we've come to understand is that the divine spent the time to prepare the soil that we call the law of mind, the law of attraction. We can even call it, for all intents and purposes, the law of the harvest. And what we've come to understand is that the universe itself, the infinite intelligence of the universe, prepared this soil so richly. It tilled this soil and fertilized it with infinite supply and fertilized it with the ability to actually receive our thoughts, our thought seeds, and to take those seeds and to turn them into a crop. And these crops, these manifestations, if you would, show up in our body, and they show up in the body of our affairs. And once the crops emerge, then they bloom, and they bloom as things, and they bloom as people and relationships. They bloom into experiences and circumstances. And what's interesting is there is no limit to how the law, the soil, can take our thought seeds and create crops. And so we will see a variety, an infinite variety of crops in all of our lives. And some of them, they show up as prosperity, and some bloom into lack. Some show up as health, others bloom into illness. We see those who have a great blooming of many friends, and we see others who see something in their lives that have bloomed that look like loneliness. And of course we see those who have this great blooming of success. And yet we see others whose crop reflects failure. Now, if we want to know more about our farming and our farms, we can go to the religious science Farmer's Almanac. And it is entitled The Science of Mind. And the great farmer that we know, Dr. Ernest Holmes, he says this on page 38. When a farmer plants a seed, he invokes the law. That which follows is done by the mechanical side of nature, which has no volition of its own. When you put a seed in the soil, that process works. And it can't decide if it's going to grow your crop or not. It grows your crop. We are thinking, willing, knowing, conscious centers of life. We are surrounded by, immersed in, and there is flowing through us a certain creative something. Call it what you will. Call it the law of attraction, the law of the harvest. The sum total of all of our thought, will, purpose, and belief, these are the thought seeds, creates a tendency in this law, which is the soil, that causes it to react to us according to the sum total of that belief. In other words, there will be a crop that follows. Now, just as our potato farmer friends, there is as he said, a brotherhood among us religious scientists. And what we know is this. We know that the universe has prepared this perfect soil. And so as farmers, that leaves for us one thing to do. That leaves for us to prepare the best possible thoughts, the best possible thought seeds for us to put into the soil of our minds. And so we make all the preparations that are necessary, just like the potato farmers. And there are things that we do, preparations that we make daily, just like our potato farmers, that will ensure a premium crop. But we have to work at it. Just like the farmer in the field, there is work for us to do. And if we are not diligent at that work, we may actually plant seeds that will produce a crop in our lives that we just simply wouldn't want to live in. So we got to do the work. Got to do the work. Now the potato farmer, he said, we've learned about the laws of nature and the laws of the harvest. And for those of us in classes and who have gone on to other sorts of training, we know that as religious scientists, we have learned about the law of mind, the law of attraction. And what we have learned is that we cannot violate her rules. We cannot cheat her. We cannot fool her. And as a matter of fact, Farmer Holmes in the Almanac gives us a very stern warning about trying to fool this law. Page 153. He says this: in dealing with mind, we are dealing with a force we cannot fool. We cannot cheat principle out of the slightest shadow of our most subtle concept. In other words, no matter how tricky you get, no matter how subtle you are, no matter how well, if you say it quietly, you talk about that person quietly, the law won't hear all that. Later on, Dr. Holmes tells us the law is exacting. It is fool. It is not a fool. It is foolproof. So what does he mean by all of this? What is the point he's trying to make? The point is this: a farmer cannot plant a tomato seed and wake up one morning and find corn. Can't plant corn and expect to see cucumbers show up. And if in fact that were to happen, then one would and one should begin to become very concerned about the universe they live in. Because at that very moment, what one would have to begin to believe is that the universe and its laws, the natural laws that are holding this universe together, are beginning to erode, is beginning to disassemble itself. So the same is true with the natural law of the science of mind. We cannot plant a seed of lack and wake up to a crop of abundance. Cannot plant seeds of failure and expect success to bloom in our lives. And if that were so to happen, one would and one should call Jesus a liar, which is very hard for me to say. But at that very moment, we would discover the great lie of his ministry. It would be at that very time that we would realize that there is no such thing as a truth that sets us free. And so at that point in time, then we are realizing that there's no way to direct the vessel of our lives. That in fact, the best thing that we can do is gear up, brace up, and get ready to be battered and tossed by the waves of the ocean of life. We have no power. So we are thankful, and I was only kidding, Jesus. You're not a liar. But I will have another check. So, now, where were we? Okay, so as the video went on, we found that the potato farmer, he has to learn the law of harvest, and he has to learn how to follow her rules. And what we've learned in religious science is that we have to learn the law of mind, the law of attraction, the science of mind, and we must follow her rules. Could you get me a Diet Coke? With ice and a splash of vodka? When I said vodka, she said yes. So we gotta follow the rules. And one of the rules that we must learn is this. The law of mind is intrinsic. It is interwoven into the very essence and fabric of the universe. And it is a blessing to learn quickly. You can't change this law. But what we learn is that we can use that law. Dr. Holmes has been quoted, and his great famous quote is, "There is a power of good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it." You can use it. But one of the rules of this law is this: do not count on it to do something for you that it wasn't designed to do. Just like our potato farmer friend. He says, when you begin to play with the rules of the laws of the universe, you are a fool. They will make a fool of you. And so when it comes to the law of mind, you can count on one thing, and one thing only. And it is this: everything is paid for with spiritual and mental coin. With spiritual and mental seed. You can count on the fact that if you think rightly, that thought seed will create a life that is right. You can count on that. You can also count on the fact that if you don't think rightly, then that thought seed is going to create something other than a right life. You can absolutely count on it. And you can watch it at work every day. Watch people, and not in judgment, but watch people. Listen to their words. Feel that feeling, that energy that people send out, and then look at their lives. It's a match. It's a match. You can count on it. That's how it works. That's how it works. Those are the rules. And that's how we have to use it. Now, our farmer friend also reminds us that at times there's a temptation to skip the work that we're supposed to do. That there's a temptation to bypass the work we have to do. And you know what I find, and I'll just say in my own life, that tends to happen when things are working really, really well. And then it will also happen when things just really, really suck, and I don't want to deal with it. You know, those times when you're in heartbreak, or you are disheartened, or you are discouraged. We want to take shortcuts. We want to skip our daily spiritual practice, our spiritual reading. We don't do our affirmations and our prayer work. We stop watching what we're thinking. We quit managing the household. And yet somehow, we think things are really well and they'll continue to go well. Or if I ignore it and things really suck, and I hide from it, that somehow, mysteriously, it's just going to clear itself up. That is the definition of a religious science fool. And I will tell you, if you look up in the Science of Mind textbook, under fool, there is a picture of me. Yes, I've done that so many times. I am, emeritus. Right next to fool. When we do that, as the old farmer said, it's like tickling the dragon's tail. You wait long enough, and you irritate that dragon long enough, you're going to get burned. And if you want to know what that looks like, look at the last episode of Game of Thrones. It burns you up. So finally, as he talked about technology and using technology to replace our human work, we must, Paco, disconnect from social media, from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the internet. You have 10,000 followers. Now listen, that technology that we have today, social media, what did it say? Facebook now is the largest nation in the world. And they are marvels. They are marvels in technology and communication. But they are not a substitute for the work we are to do. It's not a substitute for sitting in the silence. It's not a substitute for that time when you connect, where the little I and the big I connect. There's no substitute for that, but to do it. Remember that the Holy Bible tells us, be still and know that I am God. Jesus himself never said, be still and log on to Facebook. I just posted my best lasagna recipe. No! He said, go and pray. Go and pray. Like our potato farmer friends, I like the way he said, we like life. And us religious scientists, we like life. I'm going to take that back. We love life. We savor life. We know what the possibilities are in this life. And we believe that learning about the science of mind drives us to taking responsibility for our own lives. The theme is empowering. There is nothing more empowering for a human being to realize that where they are in life, what is in their lives, is of their own making. And secondly, the most empowering thing in the universe is to know no matter what it looks like, no matter how I got here, no matter what has gone on, the good, the bad, the ugly, it does not matter, because our point of power is in the present moment. You can change the seed. You can plant a different crop. You can have something new bloom in your life. And just as our old farmer friend said, our hot, sexy potato chip farmer said, we believe that this builds character in people. And all of you are quite the characters, I will say. I love you very much. Good luck and have fun planting new seeds.
I love him doing a talk about a farmer, isn't that cute?
And eating the same Pennsylvania chip.
Yes.
And don't even.
I love it.
Don't ask for a chip. Not gonna happen.
Oh, and calling poor Paco out. I love you. Don't worry, we're right there with you.
I'll pay for that later.
I'm going to start following you as well. Please welcome up again the beautiful and talented Karen Jones.
All right. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Reverend Dan. All right. I am so thrilled to sing this song. It is, I've been singing for a very long time. And it's very rare that you stumble on a song. After singing so many songs, there are songs that literally activate something in your universe. And this song did that for me. I mean, the first time I heard it, I literally jumped out of my chair and was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Okay, so yeah, I get a little intense sometimes, as some of you may know. But this song in particular really just knocked me off my feet. So I'm so happy to sing this song for you because it really is amazing. The chorus, when the world becomes a fantasy and you're more than you could ever be because you're dreaming with your eyes wide open.
Yeah.
And you know you can't go back again to the world that you were living in because you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. I mean, just powerful. All right, let's do it. Stumble through your days, got your head hung low, your sky's a shade of gray, like a zombie in a maze. You're asleep inside, but you can shake away, cause you're dead and death man walking. Think you know the only option, but you can flip a switch and lighten up your darkest day. Sun is up and the colors shining, leave behind your narrow mind, and leave behind your narrow mind, you'll never be the same. Come alive, go and ride your light, reaching up so high, let it ride, let it shine, and it's open wide, you're electrified. When the world becomes a fantasy, and you know that you are more to me, and you're meant to breathe your life wide open, and you know you can't go back again to the world that you were living in, cause you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. So come alive. I see it in your eyes. You believe that lie, that you need to hide your face, afraid to step outside. So you lock the door, but you don't stay that way. No more living in the shadows. You and me, we know how that goes. Cause once you see it go, you'll never be the same. We will be the light that's turning, burn up and keep on burning. You can move and meant to move, you cannot be afraid. Come alive, go and ride your light, let it burn you bright, reaching up to the sky, and it's open wide, you're electrified. When the world can become fantasy, and you're more than you could ever be, cause you
baskets, and on the back we wrote empowerment, like empowering messages, because these bags are for the knitting kittens, and basically they're a club at Miss Gina's work where they make little scarves and hats for the cancer patients. And they go in these little bags, and they love them. There's all these different positive messages on them. And so we did that, and we learned about empowerment and the power of you. So we read a song about it.
That must go with Carmen's knitting class. All right. You know, Reverend Dan, your talk reminded me of something that I heard on Saturday. How many have planted plants or garden? You know, have you noticed you don't have to plant the weeds? That they just show up? And that's our mind. Those are those negative thoughts in our mind. So keep your garden weeded, like Reverend Dan said, right? All right. I'd like to ask our minister of prayer. Actually, the ministers, Reverend Dan and Stacy, to come up. Any visiting ministers or practitioners, and our minister of prayer team to please come up. And please don't leave with a heavy heart, or even if you just want to say hello to one of them, they will, you know, pray with you, pray for you, whichever you prefer. And it's cold, and if you're cold, you must talk to Patty about that.
Stacy turns to me and she goes, I can't breathe. Could you break the icicle off my nose? I can do that for you. So if you'll just stand and connect. Have you noticed you don't have to plant the weeds? Like, where were you 8 hours ago when I was putting this all together? That's a talk all itself. So let's just take a deep collective breath. And it just reminds me that I share the very same air with every single person on this planet. It reminds me that there is only one power, one presence, one energy, one essence, one life. And it is God's life, and it is my life now. And what I know to be true for me, I know to be true for each and every person in this room. Each person is that one life expressing itself in a special, special way. And so as I hold the hands of God, I simply declare that each and every person this week plants new seeds. Seeds of positivity, abundance, love, peace, forgiveness. And what I know is that these seeds land in the soil of the law and create a wondrous crop in each person's life. And so I know that right here and right now, that abundance and friendship and relationships and peacefulness and wellness are blooming in each and every person's life. I give thanks that in fact there is a truth that sets each person free. And I give thanks that in this place, that truth is taught. So at this very moment, I release my word into the perfect workings of the law, the soil. And I simply let go. I let God, and I enjoy the harvest season. And so together we say, and so it is.
me right now.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
I know this in my mind.
I know this in my mind.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my body.